Within this video, we will go over some common setup and preventative maintenance steps for the Interpack model HSD 2000 ET2 series tape head. If any problems occur when setting up or operating this equipment, please contact the authorized distributor from where you purchased this item. Tape centering. If the tape on your ET2 is not centered as it travels through the tape shoe guide, the tape mandrel can be adjusted in or out to correct this in a few simple steps. 1. Loosen the M18 inverse jam nut on the rear of the mandrel with a 10 mm Allen key. 2. Adjust the shaft in or out as required using a flat screwdriver. 3. When the tape is centered, tighten the jam nut. Notice the corrected track of the tape over the wipe-down roller. Now that your tape is centered in the tape head, you can count on the ET2 to deliver the tape properly to the carton. Knife blade replacement. The knife blade on the ET2 is made from hardened steel and should provide a minimum of 250,000 cycles before replacement may be necessary. To replace the knife blade, follow these steps. 1. The cutoff blade is locked in position with two M5 button head cap screws. Loosen both screws with a 3 mm hexagonal key. Do not remove the screws. 2. Remove the blade by sliding it out. 3. Insert the new blade with the bevel facing away from the front wipe-down roller. 4. Ensure the blade bottoms against the screws and tighten securely. Lubrication of rotating and pivot points. The ET2 tape head ships from the factory permanently lubricated. No additional lubrication is necessary. However, a small amount of lightweight oil applied to rotating and pivot points will extend the life of the tape head and assure maximum performance. Oiler pad lubrication. There is a felt pad on the blade guard which can serve as an oiler pad to help clean the blade should adhesive accumulate. At regular intervals, depending on usage, add a small amount of lightweight oil or silicone spray so that when a case is processed, the oil from the pad is transferred to the blade as the knife guard is opened and closed. To do this, follow these steps. 1. Retract the blade guard using the extension tab as a handle. 2. Remove any debris or accumulated adhesive buildup. 3. Apply a liberal amount of either lightweight oil or silicone lubricant to the pad. 4. Carefully replace the blade guard against the blade. Urethane wipe-down roller replacement. The front and rear red urethane rollers on the ET2 are wear items and should be inspected regularly and replaced if necessary. To remove the urethane roller, follow these steps. 1. Using a snap ring pliers, remove the snap ring from the roller shaft. 2. Remove the flat washer and spring washer. 3. Remove the front applying roller and hub. 4. With a sharp utility knife, cut away the red urethane roller from its mounting hub. Installing the new urethane roller. To install the new urethane roller, follow these steps. 1. Feed the new roller onto the end of the hub edge without the raised shoulder. 2. Press the new roller all the way down to the end of the hub and against the raised shoulder. 3. Reinstall the roller and hub onto the roller arm shaft with the raised shoulder away from you. 4. Replace the spring washer and flat washer. 5. Replace the snap ring. 6. Refer to the assembly drawing found later in the ET2 manual for proper sequence of assembling. If the roller is too difficult to slide onto the hub, submerge it in hot water for about 1 minute. This will soften the material to allow easier assembly. Main spring replacement. Springs are wear items and should be inspected regularly and replaced if necessary. To replace the two most common springs on the ET2, follow these steps. 1. Using a pair of needle nose pliers, remove one end of the main spring from the retainer ring. 2. Take off the damaged spring. 3. Hook one end of the new spring over the retaining ring in the middle. 4. Stretch the spring over the rear arm spring retainer ring using either needle nose pliers or your finger. Hook the loops securely into the retainer's groove. Knife guard spring replacement. When replacing the knife guard spring on the ET2, as a precaution, remove the cutter blade to avoid injury and remove the cross shaft. Note that the screws are secured with Loctite and may require applied heat prior to removal. Correct orientation of the knife guard spring during installation is vital to proper operation. Refer to the ET2 tape head manual for proper orientation. To replace the knife guard spring, follow these steps. 1. Using two 2mm hexagonal keys, remove one of the flathead countersink screws by applying force on both hexagonal keys in an attempt to remove each screw. 2. Once one of the screws break free, only continue to remove that screw. 3. Leave the remaining flathead countersink screw that did not yield attached to the cross shaft. To properly orient the new knife spring. 1. Position the new knife spring as seen here. 2. Note which leg of the spring should lie behind the cutter blade mounting plate. 3. Note which leg of the spring should wrap around the front of the knife guard. 4. Insert the cross shaft through the knife arm, knife guard, and knife guard spring. Wipe down brush replacement. This multi-row brush on the ET2 assists in wiping down the top center seam of the case. While the red wipe-down rollers perform much of the wipe-down, the wipe-down brush enhances the wipe-down, as it can better conform to the irregularities of the top of the case, such as overfills, void fills, and the washboard effect of thinner-walled corrugated. Over time, this brush can become distorted or worn and should be replaced. To replace the brush, follow these steps. 1. Remove two M5 flathead countersink screws from the operator's side panel using a 3mm hex key. 2. Remove the brush. 3. Install the new brush with two M5 flathead countersink screws. Mandrel tension adjustment. Mandrel tension on the ET2 is required to control overspin of the full tape roll after the case is finished processing. The tension is set at the factory, and no change to the tension should be necessary, since the peel-off roller should control the overspin in most cases. Do not increase mandrel tension to improve tape cutting. Rather, lightly increase the one-way clutched roller to improve cutting action. Changes in mandrel tension might be required for the following reasons, which include larger than 1,000-yard 914-meter rolls are being used, the tape head is installed on faster line speeds, and the tape roll continues to overspin more than a quarter turn after the case leaves the tape head. Should a change in mandrel tension be required, follow these steps. 1. Observe the rotation of a full tape roll as a case processes. 2. Should the tape roll continue to rotate more than 1/4 turn after the case leaves the tape head, increase the adjustment nut slightly until only a small amount of rotation occurs. 3. Should the tape head rotate very little or not at all after the case leaves the tape head, decrease the adjustment nut slightly until only a small amount of rotation occurs. The one-way clutch roller, which is the knurled roller that only rotates in one direction, has its slip set at the factory. Over time, there may be a need to tighten the slip on the roller to positively affect tape cutting. To do this, take a 10mm wrench and tighten the nut at the end of the clutch roller, tightening only 1/8 of a turn at a time, being careful not to over-tighten. Check the slip to ensure you have the desired drag, then confirm by running tape through the tape head to make sure you have a clean cut. General preventative maintenance on the HSD 2000 ET2 will improve performance and prolong the life of the tape head.